The first song we sang today had a verse that I will arise when my name is spoken by God to heaven. Now that's a really nice thought. What is your name? Your name is your authentic self. Yes, for me, it is FrKenna. That's my name. But each of us has a unique and particular name that is only yours. And Jesus in the gospel today is telling us how to live to make that name powerful as a disciple. And so we get some practical stuff as we continue on today about the reign of God's love, which is we are called to be servants and disciples. So let's think about a couple of ways, and we can do that, and these are the parables that Jesus gives us. First of all, tend to business. The focus of your true self is bearing truth in your life, in your behavior. Don't worry about the weeds. The weeds are all those negative situations, things that attack and put down the wheat that we want to bear. Just remember that that's who you are wheat. And you conform your life to the love that gives itself to us as our lives. The beauty, one of the beauties of the Catholic Church is that here comes everybody. You got the saints, the sinners, everybody. So the kingdom of God is not necessarily just the church, but it's those people who live out of that discipleship model that Jesus gives us in the gospel today. The fact is that nobody has a copyright on God of love. God does that himself, and we, as his servants, do everything we can do to live that out in the world. If you'd like to say with me, I conform my heart to God's reign of love. I conform my heart to God's reign of love. So that's the first point. The second one is think small. He says that the mustard seed is the tiniest of all seeds, but God uses that mustard seed to build the reign of God. And so that's what our job is, to go around planting seeds. And you can do it here in church. You can especially do it in the parking lot or when you go home or wherever, that you begin to live out of that fundamental call of love and responsible behavior in the kingdom of God. We go into your own home. You give love to your children, to your husband, to your wife, your neighbor. Let no one ever come to you personally without having a little spiritual experience of, maybe it's your smile, it could be your kind words. The beauty is that these little seeds grow into beautiful plants of healing. And it's true also of the weeds. And they grow into nasty plants: control, attention, revenge, learned disability, bad. So be the living expression of God's kindness in your face, in your eyes, in your smile, in your warm greeting. Small acts of faith expressed in gratitude. Small acts of blessing in your home. Weed your garden and plant some tiny seeds. So if you'd like to say after me, I value the power of small acts of love. I value the power of small acts of love. You know, if you only take that home today, you know, yeah, it would have been worth the trip to church, I think, and the gospel. The other parable is blossom where you're planted. You know, all through dough that has put in it yeast, there are little activities of these yeast which is growing the dough into a full, wonderful, delicious loaf of bread. Well, that's how we are in Colombia. You going out to your homes and your families, living this life of discipleship, are like growing the wheat, growing the dough, growing the reality of God's love in the world. And that's powerful. Your children grow up in a home in which they are loved, listened to, transformed, respected, and guided. So if you'd like to say after me, I bear fruit in God's reign of love. I bear fruit in God's reign of love. So that's what it means to be a disciple of Jesus, according to his parables. Conforming your heart to God's reign of love, valuing the power of small acts of love, and bearing fruit in God's reign of love by blossoming where you are planted in Columbia, Maryland, in the year 2023.